how's it going? Just gonna whip up a quick frit spoon, do a nice solid demo. Let's go. So I'm going to use double amber purple. It's a very popular color. It starts looking kind of gold or yellowy, but it's got a lot of silver in there. So it fumes out. Sometimes it turns like a really pretty purple. Sometimes it turns light blue. It depends how much heat you put in it. So let's make one of those. The kiln is warming up to 1100 degrees. It's about 1080 right now, so close enough. I just got this clear point pulled out, heated up, ready to go. I'm gonna open up this top point part so I can dump in that frit that I showed you at the beginning. I'm just popping a hole. And then I'm gonna open that hole up. Now I can get my frit in there. So I just use like a little spoon. I'll do like 3 scoops. If I need more, I can put more. If not, then I don't need to. And I'm going to roll it until all of that color attaches to the walls on the inside. So I like to start at this end and work my way that way. And then if I have too much, I can just dump it back into that little bottle it came in. And the tip that falls on the table, I can reuse that later. Alright. Now I got it all melted in. Everything is covered. I did a lighter coating up here, so hopefully that'll turn that really pretty purple. When it's cooled down, now I gotta shut that hole and I'll attach a handle. We'll shape the pipe. So this is just graphite. I'm going to taper down the mouthpiece, which will be the skinny part right first. I like to do that first so then everything else will be on center. As long as you get this centered. There's our mouthpiece. Now I'm going to melt down the part between the bowl and the mouthpiece, so like the long shaft part. I want to make sure all of that frit is completely melted in. And then this is when you're building up the thickness of the walls. Quick comment on the thickness of the walls. People ask me all the time if I have double blown or triple blown spoons. The way you get the thickness is just by holding it in the flame and letting that glass thicken up on itself. So I'm not sure what this double blown, triple blown shit came from. I have no idea, but I get people asking me that all the time and I don't understand. So yeah, you just heat it up in the torch and let it get as thick as you want. That's pretty freaking good. On to shaping the round mouthpiece. And I want to make sure whatever I'm not working on, I keep heating up, or else it'll crack when I want to work on it later. So I'll heat up the bowl part, and now I'll round out the mouthpiece. So I'm just letting it gather up on itself, like I said before. The longer it's in the flame, the thicker the glass will be. Trying to keep everything off center. Alright, we got our mouthpiece. Now I can, once the mouthpiece stops moving so much, I can cut off this handle that I attached before, and then we'll round out the bowl, and push the bowl, and flatten the bottom, and pop the choke. So it didn't take long to cool down. Pull off whatever I don't want on the finished piece right now. And now I'm just going to melt down that whole bowl apart. Get all that frit melted in. Make sure it's nice and round. Once it's the right temperature, give it a poof. I can do another poof. Then I just gotta keep spinning, and as I spin, I can kind of check out where I want the front of the bowl to be. You can see how that mouthpiece turned from it was kind of clear before. Now it's turning all these weird amber and purple and blue. It'll be a completely different color when I show you tomorrow after it's been annealed. So yeah, after I make every pipe, it sits in this black box over there all night. It does like an 18-hour cycle. So they cool down and they're very strong glass, no thermal shock. That was my kiln reaching its temperature. Tells me it's ready by popping the roof. Okay, so I look for the most symmetrical spot to pop the bowl hole. I don't think I've ever gotten my kiln pop in its top on video, so that makes me happy. You know how heat like expands things, so it pops the top up every time. It's up to 1100. Alright, so I just popped up where that blow hole is going to be. Now I'm going to pop it out, make a hole. And now I'm just going to circle around that hole until it's the perfect temperature. And then I have my bowl pushed. And that's how bowls are born. That's how, there's different sizes. So like I have a small one, I have a bigger one. I kind of want to buy like a massive one, but I don't have that yet. The small one I typically use to like round out chillums. And then this one I use for bowls, or spoons. They're all bowls. So I want to be switching hands when I am circling this bowl hole, because when glass is hot enough, it is a liquid. So I want to make sure the hole doesn't lean to one side or the other, it stays in the center. If it starts shrinking up too much, you can just puff it back out and continue on. Right before I go to push it, I want to give it one puff to kind of solidify the size of the hole. I always wipe this on my shirt to make sure there's nothing on there that's going to stick to the glass. So one puff and a push. And then I want to blast the flame. If the hole is too small, I can ream it out with this tungsten pick. You just, if it's too big, you can shrink it down in the flame. Just by holding it above the flame, that hole will eventually shrink down. But I do want to go in there and get rid of any vivification lines. If it's not on center, you can take another graphite rod and just pull it on center and kind of circle it in there, make sure the hole is nice and round. You can always give it another little re-push if it gets out of shape. But once you got it pushed, try not to let it warp too much. Alright, now I'll heat up the very bottom and flatten that quick. Make sure I come into the pad with the mouthpiece landing first, because if anything else is touching, then it's going to be wonky later. So you want to hit that mouthpiece first, then go to flatten the bowl. Blast out any lines I got from pushing it, but I don't want it to warp, so don't get it too hot when you do that. That purple's coming out. It's hard to see on camera, but it's getting purpley. Alright, we got the bowl pushed, we got the flat bottom. Now I'm going to pop a choke. I'll do it on the side I normally don't do, and then you'll be able to see it pop out better. So I'm just going to hit the flame where I want that choke to be. Kind of give a little circle around that spot, that sweet spot. And then I'm going to give it a puff so it makes a little mountain. And that way you won't burn your thumb or your finger when you're using it later. And then I'm going to blow it out in the flame. So you notice I kind of like shrunk down as that happened, because sometimes you'll get condensation. It's really just your fucking spit. And if I'm leaning down, that spit's going to start going down, and then you could crack your piece. So that's why I kind of like went down, so I'm not at such a angle to potentially get that condensation in my pipe. That's a no-no. So I'm just going to ream this out a tiny bit. I like to have decent-sized chokes. You always want your choke bigger than your bowl hole. Mine are always... they function very well. Always. Alright, so I just was flattening it, rounding it out, flattening it, rounding it out. It's actually small for one of my chokes, but that will function nice. So sometimes I'll put dots on the side, like right here. I don't think I'm going to do that with this one. This one kind of stands on its own really pretty. That purple's popping up top. It's hard to see on the camera, but I can see it. I'll probably add some texture too. I'll pop it back in the kiln, get it back to, get it back to 1100 degrees, and then I'll heat up a spot on the shaft and just give it a little texture, and that's all she wrote. Then to take it off at the end, you use this claw, and then I can pull it off and open the mouthpiece. Fuck yeah. So I'll post pictures tomorrow. I hope everybody has an awesome Tuesday. Please subscribe. I'll see you soon. I'll be back again today.